said, I have a couple ideas, about 3 pages worth. And so we started to prioritize what some of those things were. And one of the first things I wanted to do is I said, I want to build an idea of the middle school being a community of its own. It's a standalone community within CMIS. And the reason I think that is because I believe that what changes happen in the 3 years your kids are with us are profound. There's some of the most profound changes kids go through because they're aware of it and they're living it while it happens. So the middle school is a dynamic place. No 2 days are ever the same. No 2 kids ever get in the same trouble. No 2 kids make the wrong choice or the best choice the same day. Things are so dynamic. That's what I love about it. But it's also a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy for us. It'll be a little bit crazy for all of you too. We'll talk some more about that in a minute. But for me, there is no CMIS without the middle school. We are the connector that takes kids from elementary and prepares them for high school. So that's what this logo means. There is no CMIS without this middle school. So we are welcoming you guys to the middle school community, and we really look forward to you guys joining us, okay? All right. Today we're going to be talking about the different transitions. I'm going to share a lot of information with the parents. Again, students, you've already seen a lot of that. And then, of course, the grade 5s, you'll be taking the tour. Be ready with questions for your ambassadors. They are ready to answer questions. They'll be the ones that you definitely want to talk to. Parents, I'm looking forward to your questions. Once we get through some of the base information, there's definitely time for that as well. I want to introduce Mr. Rob J. Again, he's going to be introducing the tour groups and the ambassadors, and I would just really like to give him a big, huge thank you and round of applause for all the work that he does, keeping them well, keeping them safe, and keeping them grounded. So,
thank you. All right, good morning. Grade 5, are you ready for your tour? I got 1 thumbs up. That's good. That's something at least. Middle school, ready for your tour? We got more thumbs up. Okay, good deal. Okay, so what we are going to do is grade 5 students, this is your chance to ask ambassadors who are leading you around and taking you on tour any question that you have about the middle school. They've been there for 1, 2, or 3 years, so they have a lot of knowledge about what the schedule's like, what you do in the cafeteria, if there's things that happen in the classroom, and lots of wisdom and knowledge from this group over here. So make sure you are asking your questions while you are walking around. You'll be in smaller groups. So there will be 2 ambassadors to every 3 or 4 grade 5 students. So yes, this is really your opportunity to see what it would be like to be in middle school next year and to ask any questions that you might have. So we have 10 groups this year. What I'm going to do is tell you who the 2 ambassadors are in each group, along with the 3 or 4 students, and then you're just going to line up over there one at a time, and then as your group goes over there one at a time, you can start going out on your tour. Mr.
completed a 3-sequence human development component, which is an addition to what grade 5 students get from the grade 5 puberty lesson. We've done that now in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I thought it was important to include a part of that here. Questions and answers that you may have, things that I didn't discuss that are pertaining to you and your child. Red, yellow, and blue shirts. And this is a vision on that list of things I had for Dr. Sherry. This was one of the visions I had, because for me, again, I've experienced middle school kids for a lot of years. And what happens in grade 6 at the start and what happens at the end of grade 8 is truly profound. It is something that we witness every single day. It's changes that happen in moods, it's changes that happen in physical changes. You're going to see some of your kids are going to outgrow their shirt in about 2 days. Be like, I just bought you a new shirt. Why do I have to buy you another new one? So the journey that is middle school is a lot of things. And for me, the easiest way to see it is the color spectrum, because kids go through this color spectrum where they start in grade 6 in this red zone, and colors have meaning behind them, and I'll talk a bit more about what some of those meanings might be. And then as they progress through in middle school, they get to grade 7 and they sort of change to a yellow, because that's kind of the tone that they're at, but it's also the feelings go with that color. And then by grade 8, they're in blue, and the goal is to get them to that purple status. That's high school. But what takes place in those 3 years is so much change. And the reason there's 3 colors isn't just so we can keep them separate and know which ones are 6th graders, 7th, and 8th graders. I couldn't put them all in yellow. I figured you guys might think that I was running a minion population. So part of the reason that there's different colors is so that they're not all in yellow. But part of it is because what happens is when our 6th graders come in, they are bold because they don't know what they don't know. And they're starting a new thing, and they're intense, and they're a little bit dangerous. Those are the things that we associate with the color red. But there's also words like action and energy and passion and power that they come in with. And what we have to do as middle school teachers is take that and harness some of that wild energy and sort of calm them down, and at the same time redirect that energy in positive ways. For our 7th graders, it's about being happy, it's about being anxious, it's about being distressed. 7th grade is the hardest grade. They will be 1 in the morning and 1 an hour later, and then switch back another hour later. So 7th grade is the hardest grade for sure for most of them. They're cheerful, they're optimistic, they're creative. There's a lot of intellect that starts to happen. We also have to harness that energy. And when we get to 8th grade, we see that calm, relaxing, cold, those cool kids, right? 8th grade's a very different thing. Now there's a lot more trust, there's a lot more responsibility, loyalty, authority. These are all words that are associated with the colors. And as we see your children go through this spectrum of change, we see them go through these emotions. We see them go through these changes that are, a lot of them, happening right in front of us every single day. Like I said, 28 years in this profession, never have I had 2 days that were the same. I don't ever expect to. If it starts to get the same, I'm leaving. When we get them to the purple stage, that's where we see that other step. And our goal is to get them ready to be spiritual, imaginative, that idea of being royal, that there's a next step, that next step being high school. The mystery of it, because we start to talk about what comes next, knowledge that they gain, understanding, and hopefully some enlightenment. But our job is to prepare them for those things and at the same time deal with everything else that's up there. And this is what is the journey that is middle school. Now, for parents, some of you have lived through this with an older sibling. We know that these 3 years of growth are amazing. And I remember the day my daughter was born. And I remember as she grew up over 3 years, I watched her go from this to this and chattering and all that stuff. But my daughter didn't know that she was growing. My daughter didn't know what was happening to her. She didn't have the cognitive wherewithal to understand the changes she was going through. Every single one of these students are at the point where they understand it. Or maybe they don't understand it, but they're definitely aware of it. And so the changes that they go through, guess what? Puberty's coming. Yay! Come on, parents, be happy. It's gonna hygiene changes and growth spurts and body hair and all the stuff that comes with that. But it's not just that. It's the emotional changes. And as I take you through those colors, it's all those mood swings because of the hormones that are running around inside of them and all the things that are happening inside their bodies. But they're aware of it, and so are we. And then it's the social changes. That friends today, enemies tomorrow, and besties again tomorrow after that. That's normal. And then we go 2 more 55-minute periods, and we do that 40-minute lunch. And then we do those last 2 periods at the end of the day, and then we send them home. Now, if anybody was paying attention, How many teachers did I say they would see? 8 plus, right? Do you count 8 up there? There's 6, right? That's because what we do is we do a waterfall schedule. So periods 7 and 8 start on the next day, and I'll show you what that looks like because it's very different than what the kids are used to right now. We also, this year, built in advisory. Again, trying to be holistic. We know we need to focus more on the social emotional component. We know we need to focus more on building community. We know we want to focus on college and career readiness. Those are the 3 goals of our advisory program. We are starting kids in grade 6 thinking about college and career readiness. We have an entire curriculum that takes us all the way through grade 12 talking about that. We're building community through fun activities and things that we do around the school. And we're looking at that social emotional component to make sure students are well grounded, that they understand themselves. All of that's important. So we've carved out 25 minutes every week, one time on a Tuesday, where we adjust the schedule a slight bit and we run them through advisory. Every teacher teaches a small group of about 9 to 10 kids for advisory. It becomes the homeroom. It becomes that one adult that becomes that person they can go to when they have questions. And what we're doing is last year's 6th grade teachers are moving up. So next year they're moving up with their 7th graders, and they will continue with them all 3 years of middle school. So it is one constant adult in their life that becomes that home for them over 3 years. So my 8th grade group that was running my 8th grade next year will come down and pick up that 6th grade group, and they will stay with them through 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. The advantage of that is also that you have teachers of other grade levels that know what's coming, and they can start to talk to kids about lots of things in middle school. This is what the waterfall schedule looks like. We run on an ABCD day schedule. So as I told you, there were 6 periods in a day. If you start on day A, whatever they have is their course A. We'll call that math. Course B might be science. They will go through 6 different courses in one day. Then they will have course G and course H starting on the next day. Then the cycle starts all over again. That's the waterfall. So that math class is happening on day A, but then it's happening in 3rd period on day B, and then it's happening in 5th period on day C, and notice day D, they don't have math. So every class they have for 55 minutes periods a day, but they only have 3 out of every 4 periods. And again, part of this is we are looking to fit as much stuff into the schedule as possible, as much time as possible, and not burn kids out. This means that every night they do not have math homework. Parents, you're welcome. I know that is the bane of most parents' existence by the time kids get to grade 8. I can't help my kid with math homework anymore. Trust me, we understand that. It means they don't have homework in every class every night because that's too much. It means that they're getting homework in probably 3 to 4 of those classes because some of those classes are PE. Some of those classes are music or art or things where they might not have that consistent piece of homework like they do other classes. So there's a healthy balance to what we're doing. It also allows us to see your kid at their best time. Some of your kids are best in the morning. Some of your kids are best after lunch. Some of your kids want to sleep after lunch. So we don't see them at the same time every single day for the same subject. We see them across the day, which helps them be their best. So there's a reason why we have this schedule. It then just starts all over again. So if this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is an A day, and we just keep going. We don't skip these days. They're very important. If we have a holiday, we take the day off, and we come back, and we go with the next day in the schedule. So if it goes, tomorrow's a holiday, right? So today's an A day, I believe. Tomorrow is not a day. The day after is a B day. We stick with the schedule. We do not skip it. Once in a while we have to adjust it. We make adjustments. If we shorten periods, they get 6 periods in a day. They get shorter periods for that day. But we try not to interrupt this as much as possible. It's a big change for what they're used to. They're used to seeing math every single day at a certain time or science every single day. We don't do that. I think it helps the kids in a lot of ways. This is what their schedule will contain in terms of the coursework. So of course, we don't lose those core subjects. Math, science, language arts, and social studies. Those are all core subjects. Those don't go away. You'll notice that language arts and social studies is taught by the same course instructor. So in 6th grade, they're going to have Mr. Story for 2 of those classes together. That's another great way to ground them. They don't actually have 92 different teachers. There's a couple of these teachers that teach the same thing. And their advisory teacher will be somebody new to them next year, but at some point they're going to have that person as a class teacher as well. So they're going to see somebody and have a consistent place when they have questions about 6th grade. Mr. Story has taught 6th grade here for several years. I can't even give you a number. Mr. Story used to go here at some point. So he knows 6th grade. When kids have questions, they know he can be one of those anchors. Our math teacher will be new next year. Our science teacher is Miss Jockey. She's coming back. PE will still be Mr. Steven. Wellness, as I said, will be Mr. Brandon. And you'll notice that PE and wellness, they're highlighted because they're a married course. The students go to PE for 2 periods, and the 3rd period of that 3 out of 4 schedule is their wellness course. We believe that the transition to middle school is important enough that we still want to keep that wellness there to make sure they're getting even more of that SEL, that social emotional component, and they get more of those adjustment components put in grade 6, the transition year. That's why we're keeping wellness there. They also get Thai language and culture, which depending on what level they're at now, they'll get moved into that for next year, and then of course they can move up and grow in those as time goes on as well. Then, our electives for grade 6. Some of your kids might not want to take music or art. They feel that they can't do it. We don't give them that option in grade 6. I put together the schedule so we have tasters. Every kid has to take music, every kid has to take art, every kid has to take computers, and every kid has to take drama and speech. There's no way around it. Those are the 4 tasters. Because a kid in grade 6 should not be determining whether they do or don't like something yet. And when they start to get to 7 and 8 and they start to make elective choices, those will influence what happens when they get to high school. So I want to make sure they've had a shot at all of them with specialists that know how to do these subjects and have seen what it looks like to be a music student in grade 6 that progresses through to a grade 12 student. So this is why we give them all of these at least for a semester in grade 6. For computers and for drama, we're doing something a little different next year. We're going to marry these 2 like we did physical education and wellness. For drama in the fall, they're going to switch that. Drama will be 1 of the 3, computers will be 2, to really delve more into some of the digital citizenship pieces and things like that. With music and band, they might have music first semester, then they'll have art second semester. Whatever one they have first semester, they'll switch it second semester. Those are full semester long classes. Because for music, we can't have the gaps of time. It's better to have those 3 out of 4 so you can really take kids through learning instruments and seeing which kids could become part of that 7th grade band, 8th grade band, and so on. And as I told you, our students get a lot of exercise. So this is the map, and these are the places where all of those classes happen, and the number tells you what floor that is for a grade 6 student. So they will be all over the campus. Like I said, they get a lot of running around through just being on campus. So part of that extra piece of the energy release comes from them having to move every 55 minutes and move to the next place. All right, another big change, grades, GPA. So for a lot of people coming into middle school, this is different because in elementary they do the standards-based reporting. They do a lot of comments on the report cards. Your kids will still get comments, but they'll also get percentages and grades. And what will happen is PowerSchool on your phone, PowerSchool app will be a really big deal because you'll be able to check everything in real time. So it will be something that we ask you to make sure that you have on your phone. Make sure that you can follow that. It allows you to check attendance. It allows you to check grades. You'll be getting announcements. It'll be connected to Schoolology next year. There's a whole lot of things we're doing with it that are expanding on what we have just currently right now. So in the middle school, we don't use standards-based reporting currently. We're in a transition period. We're trying to move to some of this, but it's a big shift in both what we do logistically on building report cards, physically in the computer, but also getting teachers ready to make those changes. So we're going through a process that we believe in a couple years will be kind of in sort of a hybrid and then get to that at the end. But for now, your report card will have comments on it. You'll get comments every single end of the semester from every teacher. And it will also have a grade, an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F, F being failing. Campus, and really only having the Chromebooks, which would be a lot easier to monitor and finding ways around that. So, other, huh? There you go.
At sixth grade level, do they get to pick and choose their teachers?
They do not. So part of that is the scheduler schedules them. So the scheduling system we use will just literally build the course and then drop kids in under certain restrictions. The biggest balance we go for is gender balance, and the second one is we try to balance some of the cultures. We don't want a full class of only Thai kids in a full class. So some of that gets balanced around. Once I have those lists, then I take information I know and I start moving kids around a little bit too. Some of it's based on map scores. We try and do some balance with some of that. So there's a lot that goes into building those to try and get some equity across the board in those classes. Because in grade 6, as Caitlin said, they will travel as a pack to most of their classes. The music and art opportunity to switch them and move them around, and the computer and drama to switch and move them around, I hope to mix kids so that the kids they're working with in 6 classes all of a sudden change, and they're working with the other kids as well in those other classes. That's the main point of doing that. So by the end of 6th grade, they will have worked with everybody, and it's not just, I'm in class A and I only work with these kids.
Just 2 quick questions. One was early dismissals and how that affects the ABCD. Like, do they just miss classes, or
sort of kind of what it looks like that they would be putting it in, and then that will be sort of kind of what it looks like that they would be putting it in, and then that will be shared with parents as well as one of our policies that we share out. So then parents would know what that looks like in terms of checking. But honestly, just checking it regularly, and if you don't see something, reaching out to a parent, reaching out to a teacher. I will tell you this right now,